Welcome to this deep dive. Today we're doing something a little different.
Yeah, it's a very different kind of discussion today.
We have a pretty fascinating stack of sources in front of us. It's a mix of infrastructure resilience reports, global energy grid forecasts, and some geopolitical white papers.
Right, specifically regarding sovereign AI development. It's a heavy collection of documents.
It really is. And I want to set the tone right away.
Yeah.
Our mission today isn't to, recap the daily news or debate the latest tech release.
No, definitely not. We're trying to quietly observe a transformation, a structural change happening around us.
Exactly. And I think for anyone listening, you might relate to this sort of vague ambient feeling lately.
That feeling of instability.
Yeah, like things just feel kind of unstable right now, even if you can't point to one specific cause.
It's a really common observation.
Mhm.
But we should clarify, it's not a dramatic collapse.
Right, because society hasn't stopped. I mean, the trains are still running.
Grocery stores are stocked.
Yeah, my phone still works perfectly fine.
Exactly.
Mm.
The primary function of society is completely intact. What we're actually experiencing, according to these resilience reports, is a loss of recovery ability.
A loss of recovery ability, like bouncing back.
Yeah, it's the friction. When something goes wrong now, it just doesn't get fixed quite as seamlessly as it used to.
Oh, I see. So small frictions, like minor supply chain hiccups, they don't just disappear anymore.
Right. They tend to linger. It's not a full system failure. It's just accumulated wear.
Accumulated wear. That's a good way to put it. It's like watching slow erosion, really, rather than an earthquake.
That's exactly it. And that is how civilizational change actually happens beneath the surface.
But because society still functions, day to day, we really only notice the problems when we fail to recover quickly.
We're conditioned to look for the big events, right? The massive headlines.
The movie-style disasters.
Yeah. But to understand this transition, we kind of have to observe the world as a system of underlying pressures.
And one of the white papers actually outlines a specific sequence for this, like how this societal shift happens.
Right. It moves in a very specific order. It starts with pressure, which creates a gradient.
A gradient, right.
And that leads to structural stress and finally a phase shift.
So most people are just waiting around for that final phase shift.
Exactly. But the pressure appears way, way before the actual events become visible to everyone else.
Let's break down that word gradient. Just to be clear, it's a concept from physics, right?
It is. You can think of a gradient as a stark difference in potential between two areas.
Like a huge drop-off in temperature.
Right. Or in our case, a massive disparity in resource demand.
Okay, so when a new technology demands, like, massive localized power, it creates this steep gradient between that facility and the surrounding town.
Exactly. That intense localized pull creates structural stress across the entire network.
The system just struggles to balance the load.
Yeah. Which means the pressure we're feeling right now isn't just a temporary hurdle to get over.
Wow, so that pressure might actually be the real structure forming beneath us.
The pressure itself is the new reality.
That really changes how you have to look at the world, like how we process information.
It does. I mean, think about the last couple of decades. Content and information were mostly about providing explanations.
Getting answers to things.
Right. But now, with generative AI, you get instant answers.
You don't have to hunt for information the way you used to.
And when information is instant like that, the value of just having data is heavily compressed.
So if the output is basically free, we're kind of forced to look at the machine itself.
Exactly. We have to become observers of the underlying structure.
We have to look at the massive, invisible pressures causing all this stress.
And according to the grid forecasts we're analyzing, the primary pressure right now is the intersection of AI and energy.
Which is funny because I think a lot of people just view AI as something purely digital.
Yeah, like software just floating in a cloud somewhere.
Right. It's hard to imagine, lines of code creating physical wear and tear on civilization.
But AI's true nature is entirely physical.
It really is.
Its capabilities depend directly on massive industrial infrastructure.
Looking at the data from the sources, the numbers are just staggering. A standard search engine query uses almost no power.
Just a tiny fraction of a watt.
Yeah.
But a generative AI query.
Yeah, the reports say it can require up to 10 times the electrical current.
And that's just the software running for the end user, just one person asking a question.
We aren't even talking about the training phase yet.
Right. The training phase is where the energy demands become truly astronomical.
You're talking about tens of thousands of specialized processors.
Running continuously. for months on end.
just generating immense heat, which actually brings us to the water consumption data we looked at.
Yeah, that part is wild. Data centers have to pump millions of gallons of water through cooling towers.
Just to keep the silicon from physically melting down.
Exactly. It's a massive physical footprint.
So AI is essentially heavy industry, just masquerading as a digital tool.
That's a perfect way to put it. The real stress points on the radar aren't software bugs.
They aren't coding errors.
No, they are entirely physical bottlenecks,
Right.
like GPU supply choke points.
Or intense strain on local power substations.
Right. There are even massive shortages of basic materials like copper.
Just to wire the new data centers to the grid.
Yeah. So AI isn't floating above us at all. It is sinking deeply into the physical infrastructure layer.
It's embedding itself right into the bedrock of society.
And that physical embedding creates an unprecedented amount of pressure.
Which really explains why society feels harder to restore right now, like we're losing something crucial.
We are. What civilization is losing right now is spare capacity.
Spare capacity? You mean like the extra room we used to have to maneuver?
Yeah, exactly. We're burning through our societal buffers, the redundancy that was built into the system.
Oh, I see. So when those buffers disappear, the system just can't absorb shocks anymore.
Right. The small disruptions just stick around.
But why don't we have those buffers anymore? Where did all that spare capacity actually go?
Well, for several decades, our systems were just relentlessly optimized.
We prioritized efficiency over almost everything else.
Exactly.
Hmm.
We shifted to just-in-time logistics.
We took all the excess inventory out of warehouses just to save a few dollars.
And optimization does make systems lighter. It makes them faster.
It looks fantastic on a balance sheet.
It does.
Yeah.
But there is a hidden cost to all that efficiency.
It makes the underlying systems deeply, deeply brittle.
They become incredibly hard to restore when they eventually break.
Because there's no backup resources just sitting around idle anymore.
Right. Optimization used to sound like this purely positive thing.
Yeah, like trimming the fat off a corporate budget.
But in reality, we kind of accidentally trimmed our societal immune system.
Wow. And the scary part is you don't realize you've compromised your immune system until you actually catch a cold.
Exactly. The problems only become visible after a failure happens.
And now we're introducing AI into this already brittle, highly optimized environment.
Right. And because AI requires such immense physical resources to function and scale, it pushes this optimization to its absolute limits.
It just consumes all the spare energy on the grid,
It eats up the spare compute, the available infrastructure, everything.
which just leaves the rest of civilization so vulnerable to those small, lingering frictions we talked about.
And this physical dependence isn't just an engineering problem either. It leads to the ultimate structural shift we're observing.
Right, because if AI needs all this physical infrastructure, the power grids, the water rights, the telecom networks, it can't just operate in a vacuum.
It absolutely cannot. An infrastructure footprint of this magnitude cannot survive without state support.
It needs land permits, massive energy subsidies.
And the protection of the national security apparatus.
So AI is no longer just this, free market tool developed by a couple of independent tech startups in a garage.
No, it's moving way beyond market autonomy.
It's essentially becoming a new operating system for governance.
If you think about the core functions of a traditional state, what does a government actually do?
Well, a state gathers information, it monitors the public,
It enforces laws and makes judgments.
it predicts economic outcomes, and decides how to distribute resources.
Right. Those are the exact same functions that an advanced AI performs.
The overlap is almost perfect.
Information processing, mass surveillance, predictive modeling, resource allocation.
The mechanisms are identical.
They really are. So as AI capabilities increase, state intervention naturally increases right alongside it.
They are structurally bound to merge.
We are witnessing AI move toward total state integration.
It's shifting from this convenient personal assistant on your phone to a true capacity for societal control.
And as a result, AI is naturally losing its neutrality.
Yeah, it can't be an impartial tool if it's heavily integrated with a specific government.
Which is exactly why the geopolitical white papers we're looking at focus so heavily on this idea of sovereign AI.
Sovereign AI, meaning like artificial intelligence infrastructure that belongs entirely to one specific nation.
Walled off from the rest of the world.
Governments are literally building national data centers.
They're restricting semiconductor trade.
Yeah.
Localizing their AI supply chains.
It's so interesting because the early internet really felt like it was going to open the world up.
We thought it would dissolve borders, right?
Yeah.
Create a global village.
Yeah, completely. But the AI civilization appears to be doing The exact opposite.
It's creating heavily managed national silos,
Because each nation has a different security apparatus.
different privacy laws, different societal values.
So their respective AI systems will reflect those dependencies.
The algorithms will just enforce national priorities.
So we might see a specific block of AI logic for one region, and then a completely different incompatible AI system for another.
It is a global technology, sure, but the physical reality of it ensures it will be fragmented by governance.
It really feels like we're leaving an old era behind, like we're standing on a bridge between two worlds.
We are undoubtedly in a transition period right now.
Moving from an information civilization to an AI governance civilization.
Right. An information civilization was about the internet, basic telecommunications, high-speed finance.
Those were the old battlegrounds.
But the new battlegrounds are physical
Compute capacity, raw energy generation.
and data sovereignty. We're fighting over the physical layers of cognition now.
And this shift inevitably changes what we value as a society, doesn't it?
It has to. During the optimization era we just lived through, the core value was always speed.
We constantly asked, how fast can we make this process?
Faster shipping, faster internet, faster communication.
Everything had to be instant.
But going forward, speed might not be the priority anymore.
The new value metric will likely be how recoverable a system is.
Right.
Shifting from how fast to how resilient.
Because we know the buffers are gone. The systems are brittle.
We have to focus on resilience over speed if we want to maintain any stability under these new pressures.
This paints a very, very different picture of the future.
It does. It suggests that this massive phase shift we're anticipating isn't actually a future event at all.
It's highly likely that the phase shift is already happening around us.
We are just living inside the transition.
It's difficult to see the full scope of it clearly while you're immersed in it day to day,
You feel the underlying pressure, but you haven't fully mapped out the new structure yet.
which is why things feel so uncertain. We are currently in a quiet, observational phase of history.
Our task right now is simply to watch the friction.
We need to understand what these small failures actually represent,
We have to observe the wear on the supply chains, the constraints on the energy grid.
and the quiet integration of technology into state power.
It should fundamentally change how you view your phone or your computer or just the digital tools you use at work.
It's not just about the convenience these tools offer you anymore.
No. You have to see the massive physical machines standing right behind them.
Every query you run is tied to a power plant.
A cooling tower. And an evolving governance structure.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I think there's a quiet question we should all keep in mind.
Yeah. The next time you engage with this rapidly expanding AI infrastructure, don't just ask yourself, how convenient is this for me?
Look past the screen.
Exactly. Look at the immense physical and political reality supporting it and ask yourself, who controls the resources powering this and who ultimately has the power to turn it off?